In this video, we're talking about solving problems and why your approach to solving it might not be working and what you can do about it. What's up, team? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology. So I brought out my notebook, a lot of stuff in there. I know you can't read it, it's small. I'll put a picture up. But I was going through some self-hypnosis stuff that I'm learning and trying to understand how to make more use of these inherent archetypes of the cognitive functions and the kind of personified, projected versions of them that I've been doing with Geek Psychology, like the analytical mage or wizard and the innovative explorer, and whatever they are. I was going through my notes and I was struggling, right? I couldn't figure out exactly what I'm trying to do, which is the problem, because if I don't know what I'm trying to do, then it's hard to solve that problem, right? This will all relate back. I'll give you the run through on how I approached this, how I found a way to metaphorically bring in these characters and get some insights into what I'm doing and not doing in order to solve the problems. So I first asked a question. How do I structure quest creation so that it does the internal metaphor justice? That was my question. And also with that, how do I employ the inner heroes a bit better? And I drew a graph. Okay, this graph right here has the numbers 1 through 10 going from the bottom up, right? And then along the bottom axis are all 8 of the cognitive functions. For me, I just put them in my stack order. You wouldn't have to do that, but F-I-N-E-S-I-T-E, I went through it. You can put it whatever way you want. You could even use the different names for the characters or whatever you want to do. But I know that I've been doing this enough that the images of those cognitive functions as a personified character comes up pretty readily for me. So anyway, I listed them out along the bottom, and then I took my understanding of what is necessary to get progress in this quest, in this goal, and I marked down which cognitive functions are going to be the most beneficial. Okay, I scatter plotted them or whatever it is, right? I marked them at, FI is probably actually a 2. I don't really need to understand my values and my convictions and stuff in order to bring this information to a close or to, make use of this quest type stuff. It's good, but it's not really necessary within the quest. It's not inherent as something that's necessary, right? But NE, extroverted intuition, I do need to brainstorm. I need to piece things together. I need to kind of play the alchemist a little bit and put them together, right? In order to create some new emergent out of the whole system. And I went through all the other ones that I'm not really going to explain right now. I just don't feel like it's necessary to explain it all to you. And then I connected them, up and down, up and down. Quite a lot of insight just from there, just looking at it. After that, I went through my approach to it, what I'm actually trying to bring to it. Not necessarily like all of my preferred cognitive functions, like 1 through 4 or whatever, are going to be the most used, because they're not really the most used within my approach. But I'm definitely trying to solve it with introverted feeling. I'm definitely trying to solve it with extroverted intuition, right? I'm trying to get this feeling of what really resonates within this quest. Like how does it feel? And trying to explore that. That's not really getting me to where I want to be. I'm not really using too much introverted sensing. Not really using extroverted thinking either. I'm not doing what I should be doing in terms of measuring the progress and keeping track of the variables and pushing myself towards achieving those goals or breaking down the goal into smaller pieces and stuff. It's something I always want to do. I think I do well, but really I'm not doing it as well as I could. And I continued on. And it showed me also that I'm not using as much introverted intuition as I should be. I'm not really trying to bring out symbols and metaphor as much as I should be doing, right? As well as going back to TE, measuring them and things like that. And I'm going way too far on introverted thinking. I'm trying to define and categorize all these little pieces of data and make sure that they fit within this nice little zone, right? Everything's just crystal clear and perfect. And I'm focusing so much on that. And as my demonic function, as my eighth function, it's not serving me as well as it could be. I do feel that it's necessary to reach my goal, but I don't think it's actually getting me the results that I'm putting the energy into. Does that make sense? So I color coded them and I marked them, and when you look at that graph, you can definitely see what is needed. I even wrote down below it like the difference in what should be done. So like for introverted feeling, I'm going at it at a 10, and really it's probably a 2 that's necessary. Maybe a little bit more, right? So there's an 8 difference in there. I don't feel that that's necessary, right? And so looking at it, I can see that extroverted thinking is a -8. So that means I need to use a lot more extroverted thinking, right? The minus ones are the ones that you should employ more of. And so looking at that, I wrote a simple sentence. I need to measure extroverted thinking. That's what extroverted thinking does. I need to measure more, feel less. I feel the understanding of that word, that meaning, right? I probably could have chosen a different word, but okay, so I need to measure more, feel less, and worry a bit less about defining pieces, introverted thinking. Okay, that's looking at the general gestalt of the whole thing and piecing it together on what I should do, how I should approach this. And then I kind of just brainstormed a little bit. Maybe this means I need to buff the negative numbered heroes, the minus heroes, and bring them along in my metaphorical quests, right? Or only use negative heroes. So only use the heroes that are not being used enough. And I was thinking about it. I was like, okay, that could be good. But maybe this means I need to bring only heroes that'll be effective. So like across the midway point, anything over 5, maybe I need to bring in those heroes. So that would be extroverted intuition, extroverted thinking, introverted intuition. I closed my eyes, I kind of thought about it a little bit, and it led to a nice little visualization, which was this vague kind of undefined monster, my goal. And it had a bunch of different limbs and legs and stuff. It was kind of like this gross, slimy meatball type thing. And I had, in my mind, extroverted thinking was in the front. He was calling out the orders. Actually, she was calling out the orders, delegating the tasks, as TE does. I had extroverted intuition there, kind of bounces across different classes and stuff like that. But I had him as an alchemist right now, because I'm playing with that idea. And so he's, mixing all these potions and getting ready, to throw out this cocktail of explosion and chaos. But he was facing the wrong way. He's looking to what I've left behind, perhaps, what's behind me, instead of forward to where I should be going, to what's in front of me, to my goals as I'm moving forward with this project. And then introverted intuition was, I also switched back and forth between like a ranger and a mystic kind of character. I was playing with the mystic, and she, maybe, it was like flinging these, magic bolts and stuff, like fancy, whatever it is, okay, psionic energies and stuff like that. And she's just like, whoa, 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 shooting off all over the place. And So TE and NI are going in the right direction if I were to do this, but I need to turn my brainstorming towards the correct direction. Needs to be turned around, needs to be facing the goal, needs to be focusing more on the goal. So I went through this and I brainstormed a bunch of idioms, as one does when they're trying to understand their metaphor. And I'll just read through them because I'm enjoying myself talking about this. So some idioms, what a mess. Like the floor was this kind of sticky, muddy, swamp type liquid, or whatever it was. There were also 3 little trees around and a big block pillar or something. My goal, this monster, has legs, so it has lots of parts. It has potential to move, to get somewhere, to do something, right? It's a sticky situation. There's a block right in front of me. Something's blocking my potential, introverted intuition. So I'm playing with the words that are making up what the cognitive functions do, right? Your potential could kind of come through introverted intuition, right? What you aspire to become and transform yourself into being and things like that. My ideas are entertaining, right? This alchemist is mixing all these potions. He's laughing, he's cracking up, having a good time. A little senile or kind of a lunatic type character. He's a bit crazy. But he's not even going in the right direction. He's not going forward. He's not even exploring what's left. It's all behind. He's looking behind to what I've created in the past, probably, because what's behind you is usually something it's in your past. And so he's looking back there, trying to make all these combinations still, instead of looking forward to the future. I've got to face my problems to move forward, right? And E has got to face its problems. Got to brainstorm more proactively, I suppose. It's not really natural. Like, there are these 3 trees, nature, but it's kind of like sectioned off like a tile in my metaphor in this landscape. And so it was a little strange. It didn't feel natural. Maybe it's not natural to me. I'm not taking a natural approach to it. Not really sure. Couldn't really quite piece the trees together. My perspective, introverted intuition, has potential. Like, she's firing away. She's doing all this work. And she'll eventually be effective with extroverted thinking, with this commander telling her what to do, how to do it, and guiding the approach and saying, target this spot, work at it like this, whatever. So it has potential. It could get there, but it needs more direction, as does NE. I'm not focused on the goal when I'm brainstorming. I mentioned that, and my attention is split, right? I have 2 characters going forward, 1 going backwards. And so I know this was me going through how to solve it, right? This was me looking at what's inherently needed within the quest, within my goal, breaking it down, and seeing what is necessary, right? And then imagining how that'll go, and then seeing still the difficulties that will come about because of my natural tendencies. I also, as just kind of a little fun exploration, as everything is, I switched characters to bring in introverted feeling, extroverted intuition, introverted thinking. So these were what I felt was my current approach to it, right? I'm using a lot of FI, a lot of NE, a lot of NI and TI. And when I just imagined how I was approaching this, how I was attacking this beast, this monster, this goal, this quest, it was a madhouse. It was like, just attack. Everybody was like throwing everything they could to attack this beast. And it wasn't doing anything. There was no thought, no consideration, no planning, no strategy. Even the healer, this reflective conscience, this druid, this empath character of introverted feeling was attacking the beast. And it was also enlightening just to go through like what is going on when I'm trying to approach a goal. And it's chaos. I'm just going at it illogically or with too much introverted thinking and not enough results, not enough focus on measuring my progress and seeing if things are coming together, if all the gears are fitting, if everybody, all my characters, everything, even outside of myself, of course, are working together to get to my goal. So yeah, enlightening to me. So what I suggest you do, if you're still interested in this, is to think of a problem and go through the steps. So think of a problem, draw a little chart, 0 to 10, split it with a dotted line at 5, write out your cognitive functions, make sure that you understand them well enough that you're bringing it together, maybe personify them, give them a name or something like that, and then mark what is inherently necessary to achieve that goal. Do you need to blah, blah, blah? Do you need to look to your past more, to authority, to try to make sure that you're following and implementing this precedent and this procedure? Well, then you need a lot of introverted sensing. Do you need to take more action, get into your body and stuff like that? Rely on your senses. I don't know what your goal is, right? What the problem could be. But then you would need more extroverted sensing, okay? So mark that, and then mark your current approach to it. And draw the little connecty lines with all the colors, make it nice, make it something to look at, and then mark the difference between those, okay? And focus on the negative numbers that are, I felt, that are above 5 or that feel really relevant. It's not a direct science, of course. And then go through it and just see what kind of images come about. If you're a gamer like me, if you're into this kind of fantasy stuff, then brainstorm. Imagine, the possibilities of these characters working together, approaching a goal, whatever the goal is. It could be fighting a monster, it could be trekking across the wilderness, it could be exploring a dungeon or something like that. It could be going to a party and embracing whatever is going on at the party and talking to new people, getting new insights from other people. Like, what is necessary for that? Probably a lot of SE, FE, maybe some FI, whatever it is, maybe TE to actually see if you're making good progress into building rapport with people. That's kind of like a logical way of approaching it, but yeah, it's there. All right, so I know it's kind of strange, it's a little different, but I do feel that it's helpful. And if you make a story out of it, if you go through it, I feel that you'll get some insights into it. What you do with those insights, it's kind of up to you. What I'm going to do with this, not really sure. I need to obviously go through TE, right? I need to really clarify my goal and break it down, and I need to focus more of my intuition into the correct direction, into making those pieces of the goal work and come together, right? I need to combine ideas a little bit more going forward. I need to focus on how this is going to transform my intentions with geek psychology and creating quests and the worlds that I've created within my mind and the characters and things like that. All right? So that's it. Keep up the lifelong questing. Good luck, have fun. Peace.